Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it is time for a dynamic effort lower day, but a quick reminder for those of you who watch these videos. Please remember to click like down below, be greatly appreciated. Alright, as I get closer to Worlds, not really doing what people would think of as a peak. At this point, I am focusing hard on recovery because I've already gained the strength that I need. Alright, I've been doing max effort work for months. You guys just watched me pull an easy 625 earlier this week, actually. Squatting up above 500, benching mid 300s. Everything's good. Everything is good there. Now I'm cutting still, though. I'm getting my body weight down, getting body fat down. Getting ready to make that final push to make weight, and then I'll refeed. So for me at this point, it's not about gaining strength. Okay, it's about maintaining my ability to produce force, maintaining my technique, focusing on hypertrophy and recovery, because body composition matters here. I cannot afford to lose any muscle mass. So I'm actually avoiding putting a barbell up on top of my back at this point because, again, recovery with the slightly reduced calories, trying to focus on sleep. Melatonin and Benadryl are my best friends right now. Sleep, 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 sleep. I even limited my speed pulls today because my hands were just starting to hurt. And again, I don't have an issue with that. If I do 4 doubles against heavy bands like that, when I just hit a good max effort deadlift this week, I'm fine. Because our rate of force production is up, our ability to produce force is up, our technique is maintained. All right, everything else is then about, can we stimulate hypertrophy and recover from it? That's why, again, I'm focusing so much on the delts on the upper body. But notice nothing loads the spine outside of my squatting and deadlifting. I do nothing to load the spine, really. It's mostly a bit smaller movements for the upper body. None of it's really standing unless it's chest supported. Because we're relying on things like the reverse hypers, the speed pulls, all of those things to continue to build the back. And we are pushing those super hard. You guys saw here as I did supersets, going into this just to save some time a little bit after the speed pulls. I did glute ham raises supersetted with 2 different exercises. We did belt squats. And those belt squats were tough because I'm using the narrower footing, so I'm going really deep. My quads are just getting destroyed. But, I'm doing the number of sets that I can recover from because I want to really watch my knee health going in. I don't want to get any inflamed quad tendons. Why? Because I'm going to have to squat in competition. I've got to squat at Worlds. I want those tendons to be not inflamed, but I still need to stimulate hypertrophy. But you're going to see a common theme here. Everything is traction. After the speed pulls, literally all 4 of my other exercises were traction-based. We could argue about belt squats as to how much traction it puts, but at least there's no axial loading. All right, glute ham raises, these are traction-based. Hanging leg raises, traction-based. Reverse hypers, traction-based. And, these are some of the keys to one reason I've built my deadlift the way that it has. And I hate to have to tell people this, but there's a reason I have these devices. Guys will say, man, it's crazy that you deadlift what you do pain-free and recover from it at your age. So the question becomes, how do I do it? It's these traction-based movements. It's the traction-based movements. And I really feel the reverse hyper is pivotal for that. It is one of the most important devices in me having done that. I will go so far as to say, I do not believe that I would be deadlifting over 600 pounds at my age while having a healthy back if I did not own and utilize the reverse hyper. So when people ask me, hey, can I replace these things with something else? I'm going to say no. Of course not. Of course not. You can't replace these things. Are you kidding? There's a reason there's patents on these devices. There's a reason the best gyms in the world utilize them. It's not arbitrary. It's not because, oh, they could just be easily replaced. And that's okay. Just be aware, that if you have other things going on in your life that prevent you from buying or having the space for one, or being able to get to a gym that has one, and has these devices, that you've made a compromise somewhere. And that's okay. That compromise is hopefully more important to you. Maybe it has to do with finishing a certain degree. Maybe it has to do with the number of children you chose to have. Okay? Or maybe it's, hey, you don't work as enough hours to do it because you want to spend that time with your children. Now, when we look at all those things, people say, well, those aren't bad things. Why are you making fun of it? Because I'm not making fun of it. I'm just saying that you made a choice. And I'm not saying it's the bad choice or the wrong choice, but it's the choice you made. Okay? Live with your choices. Like, don't choose A and then get upset that you didn't choose B. If you believe that choice A was the better overall choice for your life, your happiness, your well-being, then you can't get upset. You accept it. But in many cases, it is the case of people not wanting to put in the work, think outside the box, figure out how they could afford these devices, how they could fit them in, You can always find a way to make more money and work more. You can always do that. It may cost you to compromise somewhere else in your life. But then the question I would ask you is, do you want to deadlift 600 plus pounds in your 40s? Okay. And if you don't, it's not a big deal. But even all my lifters over 40, I make them buy a reverse hyper. All right. Eventually, I push them in that direction, even if they don't train at home. Normally, I'm like, find a corner in the garage and buy one and put it in there. It'd be a good idea. Younger guys don't necessarily need it, but it's going to help you down the road to have one. So just be aware, I attribute much of what I do to these devices. So let's get over talk about the rest of the training. Belt squats, glute ham raises, hanging leg raises, reverse hypers. All right, the belt squats and the hanging leg raises obviously build my squat. Okay, they're there to build the squat because I don't put a barbell up on my back outside of my max squatting at the moment. I don't think that I need to. Eventually I'll work the good mornings back in once calories stabilize. All right, once calories stabilize, I'll work that back in. Right now, I don't have the recovery. It's sleep, sleep, sleep. Put everything in traction. Build any muscle that I can. Maintain 100% of my muscle mass. Okay, as long as I don't lose muscle, the deadlift and stuff is going to stay there walking into Worlds. I'm down to a point where I almost don't care what I squat at Worlds. Anything 500 plus, I don't care. I'll be happy with a 230 kg. Right, that's 508. I walk in and squat that at Worlds and it's clean and it's below depth and that's what I get. I'll be more than happy. I mean, I'm probably going to get more. I'm hoping I'll get more. We'll see how the water cut goes. But at this point, that's not my biggest concern. My concern is knocking down that deadlift record. And then I'm probably done with the 90 kilo for a while, the 198 Masters 2. Probably going to go up a weight class. All right, well, let's come over reverse hyper. I believe, honestly, if people were to ask me what has built my deadlift, I'm going to say speed pulls and the reverse hyper. These are the tools that have built my deadlift the most while allowing me to recover. Okay, they allow me to recover. Speed pulls are easier on recovery. They build the technique. They build the rate of force production. Done with bands and chains, they even build grip. Okay, the reverse hyper builds all the musculature of the deadlift, has better recovery, stimulates and enhances recovery due to the traction. It's restorative. All right, that combination, that is my winning secret. This is how I built my deadlift. If I were to narrow it down for you guys to 2 exercises, the 2 most important things: speed pulls, reverse hypers. I believe that's responsible for 90% of my deadlift results. All right, there's my magic secret. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.